Hello, Zoo Med fans. We're here again at AnimalCon 2023, afternoon of the second day. I'm here with Juliette Brewer.
Hi.
Juliette, you want to tell our fans a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Juliette Brewer. I run the Reptile Zoo, so management side and logistics side and animals, making sure that they're all good to go and happy and healthy and delegating all the tasks to make them do that. And then I do social media as well, which is fun.
How many species are you responsible for?
I don't know the count of species, but I know when last time we had over 85 species, which is pretty insane. We have a big team of amazing people that work with us as well. So we have people who are stoked on arachnids, stoked on geckos, stoked on snakes and lizards and all kinds of stuff. Me with the overlying knowledge, be able to direct people who understand as well. We have quite a few different ranging in different localities and all kinds of really cool stuff.
So you have the privilege of overseeing all these people in the different departments and making sure that everything's running smoothly within the zoo.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, which is fun.
Do you have any favorites in the zoo, like animal-wise? Or
Of course.
this is my favorite kid over here, you know?
Yeah, so I have 3 kids. I won't tell you which one's the actual favorite, but I've got Gilly, he's my black dragon. So he's not fully grown yet, so right now he's probably about 6 or so feet. He's just a beautiful, athletic, gorgeous, stoic black dragon, and I love, I could have full-blown conversations with him where, I love him.
They're so
I adore him.
I bet you talk to them and they look like they're listening to you.
It's more he's talking to me to be like, get your ish together before you touch me. And I'm like, I will, I'm so sorry. So I love him. He's absolutely one of my favorites. And then the other 2 are gators. One is Coconut, my albino gator. She's so fun because I also like the animals that kind of give you a run for your money. Where it just reminds, I was raised in it. So, not that I'm jaded, but every once in a while you can just look at a beautiful animal and forget just it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I feel like
it is a wild animal. It was, yes.
Yeah. So I love the animals that remind me through usually a little bit of challenging temperament that they are in fact wild apex predators. So Coconut, my alligator, she is so cool and so beautiful, but she's feisty. So with the females that we've had, which I've heard other areas as well, females are always psychotic. Just that territorialness is something that's unmatched. I love that. It's very fun. I really enjoy that.
A lot of us grew up, having pets as kids, but you kind of grew up in a different environment. You had a lot of things around you. What are some of your earliest memories of being around
leopard
all
geckos?
of these? Yeah?
Yeah, leopard geckos, which now I do not like leopard geckos. Because it was I'm 31, so I literally have been working with them from the moment that I was able to tactilely be able to handle myself.
Sure.
That was what we did. We were leopard gecko people because that's where the industry was.
Yeah.
So some of my sisters and I just going through and just taking care of all of them, taking care of the little feisty babies that are so hissy at you and
they think they're a 10-foot alligator?
Yeah. But I was also little to where I was I'm terrified of you, absolutely terrified of you. There's so many different animals that I feel I was raised with that I am just that's a 6-foot monitor. Yeah, that's a 20-foot python.
And you think nothing of it? Yeah.
No, I even am not fully comfortable with dogs and cats. That's what's kind of funny is all the animals that I want, I can't have in my home. One, because I don't have the spacing. I don't have the budget. I don't have the anything. So I was great. I will instead work with them forever. I get paid. I don't have to pay for their food. I don't have to do this. I don't do that. And I can never have alligators at home.
You mentioned, the alligator keeping you on your toes. Is there anything else in the collection that's just kind of a little spicy and you're every time you go in there, you're you gotta watch it?
Honestly, every animal. The animals that we have, even with every animal, you go in with what's worst case scenario, so that then you're ready for it. Because I'm constantly earning their respect. It's not a mutual. I can't expect them to respect me if I'm not first putting that forward. So the way that I do it is I'm we vibing today, and if we're not, we're not. And if I still have to do something, I'm great, I'm just gonna take my time. I'm gonna read your eyes. I'm gonna understand you deeply, and I'm gonna just be I'm gonna wait for you. So I think that's a big thing with them. We're like, they all should a little bit scare us. Like, they are big, beautiful, gorgeous wild animals. So
what's your role within the zoo on the social media aspect? You know, what do you do? What are you trying to create on that side of things?
Education is huge for us. So one of my favorite things is that, like, so my black dragon Gilly, like, I love this guy, love him. So I make a lot of videos with him. There's been some fun ones that people have really interacted with and like really connected with. And people, little kids, they should not know what a black dragon is. They're like, oh, that's Gilly, that's a black dragon. I just want to see all the black dragons. That just feels crazy to me. Like, that a little kid knows what not a water monitor, like a black dragon. I don't know, which is the same, obviously, but like that they're saying it they know what a water monitor is. It's cool. So
it's like any kid growing up, I wanted to have a dinosaur as a pet. I mean,
exactly.
It's not that different.
No, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, it just feels like a true privilege to be able to, like, people are connecting with the animals that I get to make videos with, and it translates well because I love them. Like, I deeply love these animals. They're beautiful, incredible animals, and I feel very passionate and very excited that it transfers over.
So your videos are more like care-based and like what the animal is and how they live and what they eat and how they're cared for.
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, a lot of it is just me stopping and interacting with the animal, and then just like every animal is so quirky and so silly, and I know their specific quirkiness and silliness that showcasing those and humanizing those is what creates a connection, and it's creating education.
Are you enjoying AnimalCon?
Oh yeah, I love this. It's so fun.
Experience, isn't
I
it?
love it. Yeah, well, because I get to meet all the people.
Yes.
And everyone's just so kind and so sweet. So I love getting to like meet them and then be like, I see your videos. I did like, oh, you're so freaking badass. Like, what, all the things. So I really enjoy it. Yeah.
You work more on the zoo side of the industry, so, but a lot of people that watch us, that are fans of Zoo Med are home keepers. Going to have their first reptile, ever. Do you have any advice to somebody who's looking at getting their first reptile, or just suggestions, advice, to pass along to them?
Depending on what you get and all that, like, I think a lot of times people see them as these crazy exotic animals, like a crested gecko, where like definition of exotic is not. So I think they come in with a little bit more intensity than they need to, which we always are like, do the research. Can you house this animal as it's an adult? Can you this as it gets to that age? Can you handle the size of enclosure that it needs? Being able to make sure that they are like understanding, but also not overthinking it. I want you to succeed as the person who's taking care of it as much as I want the animal to succeed. Like, there's a two-way road on that, because if the animal is like gnarly, perfect, everything, but you are freaking stressing out, you're not doing it right. Yep. It's not that intense. There are a lot of intricacies. There's a lot of everything.
The purpose, right?
It takes away the fun. I want the person to be able to have a good interaction. It is just about the animal, but there is the back and forth of like the animal's long care term of the human taking care of them needs to be good as well. So yeah,
it must be neat to get those phone calls and know you have such a big reach, from just anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a privilege that we don't take lightly. So we make sure that, because again, we have an amazing team around us that they're also taking that heavily as well. Because sometimes people are like, hi, I need to like talk through things, and we'll be on the phone for 20 minutes with them, and they're just like standing at the counter, like there's like lines at the door, but we're like, why, like, as I'm hiring in and doing stuff, like, I'm like, that is a huge priority for us. It's cool to be able to keep on facilitating that.
And I can say I've actually been to your facility years ago, and you have the privilege of not just, you have both facilities on site. You have a pet store, and then you have the zoo as well right there. You have the privilege of being able to show them what a zoo quality enclosure habitat is capable of looking like.
Yeah.
You can be like, check this out. This is what you can do.
Yeah.
So that must be amazing. That's really convenient.
Yeah. Every year, that is one area that we're continually upping our game for our enclosures, because obviously, deeply it matters. And we're like, that's what we need to make sure that we're emulating what we're preaching. And I think we do that well.
That sounds great. Yeah. Thank you very much for the interview, Juliette.
Yes, of course.
Enjoy the rest of AnimalCon.
Thank you as well.